My beloved child, before you decide to move away, don't skip. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. Today is not about fear, and it is not about shame. This message is about something many people notice but very few understand. This is about your body, your presence, and the quiet impression you leave wherever you go. Someone has been speaking about the way you look. Their words have traveled farther than you imagine. Yet what they have been saying is not the full story. There is a hidden reason those conversations keep happening, and before this message ends, you will understand why. Stay till the end, because every sentence is leading to a revelation that could completely change the way you see yourself. Have you ever entered a room and felt that people looked at you for just a second longer than expected? Have you ever wondered why strangers sometimes remember your face while forgetting everyone else around you? These moments are not random. There is something about the way you carry yourself that creates curiosity. Someone noticed it long before you did. They started describing your appearance to others, trying to explain what made you unforgettable. But every time they tried, they realized words were not enough. They compared you to confidence. They compared you to kindness. They compared you to someone whose presence stays in people's minds long after they leave. Still, none of those comparisons captured the complete picture. Don't skip. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. What happens next in this message is something almost nobody expects. The conversations about you did not stop with one person. They continued. One person mentioned your smile. Another talked about your calm expression. Someone else admired the way you stand with quiet confidence even when you never try to be the center of attention. They were not simply talking about appearance. They were trying to understand the feeling your presence creates. That feeling cannot be copied. It cannot be borrowed. It belongs only to you. Many people spend years trying to become unforgettable. They change their style. They change their voice. They change everything about themselves hoping to be noticed. Yet the surprising truth is that what makes you memorable cannot be purchased or copied. It comes from the harmony between your heart, your character, and your confidence. That is why conversations about you continue even when you are not in the room. People remember authenticity. They remember sincerity. They remember peace. Those qualities shine brighter than anything else. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. There is still one important piece missing. The person who first began talking about your appearance thought they were describing your face. Later they realized they were actually describing your energy. They discovered that people smiled more around you. They noticed that conversations felt lighter when you were present. They recognized that your confidence quietly encouraged others to believe in themselves. Without realizing it, you became an example of something beautiful that cannot be measured with a mirror. This message is not ending where you think it will. The greatest surprise has not been revealed yet. The truth is that the most unforgettable part of you has never been your appearance alone. It has always been the hope, warmth, and quiet strength people feel when they meet you. That is the reason your name continues to appear in conversations. That is the reason someone keeps trying to describe you to everyone they know. And that is why today you are being reminded of something you may have forgotten. Your greatest beauty has always been the light you carry within, and that light continues to reach farther than you can imagine. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the beginning. A quiet truth is beginning to unfold, and this chapter reveals the part of the story that almost nobody sees. The conversations about your appearance did not continue because people were searching for flaws. They continued because they were trying to understand why your presence leaves such a lasting impression. Someone described your confidence. Someone else admired the calm expression on your face. Another person noticed the kindness that naturally appears whenever you speak. Little by little, every conversation became less about how you looked and more about how people felt when you were around. That unexpected shift changed everything. The person who first started talking about you believed they could explain what made you different. They thought it was your smile. Then they believed it was your eyes. Later they decided it was your confidence. But every answer seemed incomplete. They finally realized that the most memorable part of you was not one feature. It was the harmony of your character, your attitude, and the quiet confidence you carried without asking for attention. That realization spread from one conversation to another until more people became curious about the person everyone seemed to remember. Imagine hearing someone say, "There is something about this person that is impossible to forget." Those words were spoken more than once. They were not describing perfection. They were describing authenticity. In a world where so many people try to imitate others, your natural way of being stood out without effort. That is why people kept bringing up your name. They wanted to understand how someone could leave such a positive impression simply by being genuine. As those conversations continued, another surprising discovery appeared. The people who admired your appearance often ended up talking even more about your kindness. They remembered the encouragement you gave. They remembered the respect you showed. They remembered the calm way you handled difficult moments. Suddenly, the discussion about your appearance became a discussion about your character, and that was the moment everything changed. Your greatest strength was never limited to what could be seen. It was found in the way you made others feel valued. There is one final piece to this chapter. The person who kept talking about you eventually stopped trying to compare you to anyone else. They understood that comparisons could never explain what made you unique. Instead, they simply said, "You have to meet this person for yourself." Those words carried more meaning than any compliment. They revealed that your presence speaks louder than descriptions ever could. Sometimes the most unforgettable people are not those who seek attention, but those who quietly bring light wherever they go. And that is the truth that has been waiting to be revealed all along. A remarkable discovery is about to connect every piece of this story. The conversations about your appearance have now reached a point where they are no longer about first impressions. They are about lasting memories. Someone recently asked a simple question: why does everyone remember this person? The room became quiet. Each person had a different answer, yet every answer pointed toward the same truth. They remembered your confidence. They remembered your calm spirit. They remembered the way your presence made ordinary moments feel meaningful. Without realizing it, you had become someone whose name naturally stayed in people's minds. The person who spoke about you the most finally admitted something unexpected. They said they had tried to compare you to many different people, but every comparison felt incomplete. They realized that your appearance could never be separated from your personality. Your smile carried kindness. Your eyes reflected sincerity. Your posture revealed quiet confidence. Even the smallest details worked together to create an impression that words struggled to explain. That realization surprised everyone listening because they understood they were not talking about ordinary beauty. They were talking about authenticity. As the discussion continued, another surprising moment unfolded. One person shared that your greatest quality was not something they noticed immediately. It revealed itself over time. Every conversation with you added another reason to respect you. Every interaction uncovered another layer of patience, warmth, and understanding. The people around them nodded in agreement because they had experienced the same thing. They realized that while appearances may catch attention for a moment, character is what keeps someone unforgettable. That is why your name continued appearing in conversations long after you had left. Then came the moment that changed everything. Someone quietly said, "I think the reason everyone talks about this person is because they make people feel comfortable being themselves." Those words transformed the entire conversation. Suddenly, nobody was focused on individual features anymore. They were talking about the atmosphere you create. They remembered laughing more in your company. They remembered feeling encouraged after speaking with you. They remembered walking away feeling lighter than before. That was the answer they had been searching for all along. The title of this story now carries a completely different meaning. This is about your body, but not in the way people first imagined. Someone was telling everyone what you looked like, yet every conversation eventually became about something far greater. Your appearance opened the door, but your character became the reason people stayed interested. That is a rare combination, and it cannot be imitated. It grows naturally from honesty, kindness, confidence, and consistency. As more people heard these conversations, something extraordinary happened. Curiosity turned into admiration. Admiration turned into respect. Respect turned into inspiration. People began asking how someone could remain so genuine without trying to impress anyone. The answer was simple. You never focused on becoming unforgettable. You simply chose to be yourself. Ironically, that became the very reason others found you impossible to forget. There is still one final truth waiting beyond this chapter. The person who first spoke about you now understands something they did not know before. The qualities they admired were never temporary. They continue to grow stronger with every experience, every challenge, and every new beginning. Your greatest strength has never been about looking like anyone else. It has always been about becoming the best version of yourself, and that journey has quietly inspired more people than you realize. The next chapter reveals the final piece of the story and explains why those conversations about you continue even today. Everything has been leading to this final revelation. What began as a conversation about your appearance has quietly become a story about your impact. The people who once tried to describe the way you looked eventually stopped searching for comparisons because they realized they were missing the most important part. They were describing someone whose presence naturally leaves a positive mark on everyone they meet. That discovery changed the entire conversation, and from that moment forward, your name carried a different meaning. One day, someone who had heard all those conversations finally asked a simple question. If everyone keeps talking about this person, what makes them so different? The room became silent for a moment. Then one voice answered, "It isn't just the way they look. It's the way they make people feel." Those words stayed with everyone present. They realized that appearance might capture attention for a moment, but kindness, confidence, and authenticity are what create lasting memories. That was the truth hidden behind every conversation about you. As time passed, more people began noticing something remarkable. Whenever your name came up, the discussion quickly moved beyond appearance. They remembered your encouragement during difficult moments. They remembered your respect for others. They remembered the calm confidence you carried without trying to impress anyone. Every memory added another reason why your presence continued to stand out. Without realizing it, you had become an example of quiet strength, proving that genuine character always shines brighter than first impressions. Then came the moment no one expected. The person who first spoke about your appearance admitted they had been wrong from the beginning. They thought they were describing your face, but what they had truly noticed was your authenticity. They had mistaken confidence for appearance, kindness for style, and warmth for outward beauty. The realization surprised everyone because it revealed something far more meaningful. Your greatest quality had never been something people could simply see. It was something they experienced whenever they spent time with you. That is why your story continued spreading from one conversation to another. People were not sharing gossip. They were sharing appreciation. They were talking about someone who remained genuine in a world that often rewards pretending. They admired the consistency between your words and your actions. They admired the quiet confidence that never needed attention to feel valuable. Those qualities became the reason people remembered you long after every conversation had ended. If this story has reminded you of the value of authenticity and treating others with kindness, consider sharing it with someone who could use the same encouragement. Every meaningful story becomes even more powerful when it inspires another person. As this chapter closes, one truth remains clearer than ever. Your appearance may have started the conversation, but your character became the reason it never ended. The qualities people admire most cannot be measured by a mirror. They are revealed through compassion, integrity, confidence, and the way you help others feel seen and respected. That is the legacy that quietly grows every single day. The next time someone tries to describe you, they may begin by talking about your appearance. But before long, they will almost certainly be talking about your heart, your attitude, your resilience, and the unforgettable peace your presence brings. In the end, that is what people remember most. Not a single feature, but the lasting difference you make in the lives of those around you. A new understanding is beginning to emerge, and it changes the meaning of everything that came before. The conversations about your appearance never ended because people were fascinated by outward features alone. They continued because every new encounter revealed another quality that was impossible to overlook. Someone remembered your confidence during an uncertain moment. Someone else remembered the calm way you listened when everyone else was eager to speak. Another person recalled the quiet encouragement you gave without expecting anything in return. Piece by piece, those memories formed a picture far greater than anyone had imagined. The person who first tried to describe you eventually realized they had been searching for the wrong words. They thought they were talking about appearance, but what they were really describing was presence. There is a difference. Appearance is noticed in an instant, but presence is remembered long after the moment has passed. Your presence carries warmth, sincerity, and quiet confidence. That combination is uncommon, and it explains why your name continued appearing in conversations even when you were not there to hear them. One afternoon, someone asked an unexpected question. If this person is so memorable, what is the one thing everyone agrees about? For a few seconds, nobody answered. Then one voice spoke with complete certainty. They make people feel important. Those simple words changed the direction of the entire discussion. Every person in the room began sharing moments when you had offered encouragement, shown respect, or made an ordinary conversation feel meaningful. Suddenly, everyone understood that the most remarkable thing about you could never be measured by appearance alone. As those memories were shared, another truth quietly surfaced. The people who admired you most were not impressed because you were trying to stand out. They admired the fact that you never needed to compete for attention. You remained authentic in every situation. You celebrated the success of others. You treated everyone with kindness regardless of who they were. That consistency became your signature, and it was more powerful than any first impression could ever be. There is something extraordinary about people who remain true to themselves. They do not need to pretend to be someone else. They do not change their values to fit every situation. Instead, they quietly inspire others through honesty and compassion. That is exactly what happened here. The conversations about you gradually became stories of encouragement, gratitude, and admiration. Every person added a different memory, yet every memory pointed toward the same conclusion. Your greatest strength has always been the character you carry wherever you go. By the time the discussion came to an end, nobody was talking about comparisons anymore. They had stopped searching for someone who looked like you because they realized there was no meaningful comparison to make. What people remembered most was your authenticity, your confidence, your kindness, and your ability to leave others feeling valued. Those qualities cannot be copied, and they cannot be replaced. They grow stronger with every interaction, creating an influence that reaches much farther than you may ever know. As this chapter closes, one lasting message remains. Never underestimate the impact of being genuine. Long after people forget small details, they remember how you treated them, how you encouraged them, and how you helped them believe in themselves. That is the story people continue telling about you, and that is why your presence continues to leave a lasting impression wherever your journey takes you.